Good evening. My name is Dana Peterson. I am the acting chair of the Rutland Town Planning Commission, and I would like to welcome everyone to the regular Planning Commission meeting for August 21st, 2025. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So I think I forgot to call the meeting to order, but the meeting is officially called to order. Thanks. 33. And I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Thank you, Andy. And thank you, Jerry. Now, any discussion? I actually have a note that because of the configuration of those present here tonight, that we will not have a quorum for the last two sets of minutes to take action on those later in the meeting. So I would entertain a motion to remove the minutes from this month's agenda and postpone them until our next scheduled meeting on September 11th.
Move to. I'll second it.
Okay,
Okay.
so that's Andy and Howard. All in favor of removing that from that item from our agenda this evening?
Aye.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, or changes that would be desired for the other items on our agenda this evening? Okay, so Andy, since you made the initial motion to approve the agenda, would you be willing to make an amended motion to include the removal of
Yeah, I
the
thought we
minutes?
just did, but yes, I move the,
Approve the agenda as amended.
yeah, approve the agenda as amended. Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome. Is that okay with you, Jerry?
Yes.
You. Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I don't see anyone available for public comment this evening. Anyone online, Bill? Okay, so we will move over public comment and we will go to new business, a boundary line adjustment for the Baird Levins parcels on McKinley Ave.
There's no one here to speak to it.
There's no one here to speak to it, so I wouldn't, do we need to have a motion then, Bill, to move that to the next meeting? Or do we just do that?
There's no one here. There's no one here. We can't talk about it.
Okay, move to next meeting.
Talk about it, but there's no one to ask questions to.
The math works, so that's good. With the acreage, so it's not like there's any additional acreage.
Okay. Any other comments now? The only thing I will say is that I believe, if memory serves me, this group came to us recently within the year to request another boundary line adjustment. And that boundary line adjustment was up in the so this is north, we're gonna call it, say, the northeast area over here, and this elbow was flipped, I believe, that it was an extended elbow and now it's an inverted elbow. And we wondered at the time why that was happening. This is a significantly more substantial request. If my math is right, it's over 2.5 acres. Bill, you want to correct me on that?
Yeah, that's what they list here is, about 2.6
2.6
acres.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. So moving that from lot A, removing it from lot A and placing it in lot B, is that correct, Bill? Am I?
Yep.
Right, okay. So just so that everybody has an idea of what is being,
The elbow thing never happened?
So
Is the
it's,
corner gonna be clipped? That did happen?
it did happen.
January.
Okay.
So
So
there should be like a
this
line.
is gonna be, become part of lot B? That's the idea?
That's my understanding. Is that right?
Yeah, so lot A is getting smaller, lot B is getting bigger.
Yeah, right.
Was that?
Is there anything on the lots? Like any housing or anything yet?
Not, I don't think so. I don't think lot A has any, lot B does not have any structures on it, and I don't think lot A does either.
Just curious of the thought from the owners, maybe possibly developing it.
That's outside the local authority.
Well, I just for our planning commission, because I know it's the second thing we're gonna talk about is a subdivision from Ferrisburgh.
Yep, right.
Well,
Very clear.
Yep. This is what is proposed, but I'm having trouble coordinating this with the map that we have. Because this is lot.
that's your lot A right there. You don't see any of this over.
Oh, this is all.
Because this is
lot A.
parcel, yeah, it's parcel 2.68.
That's a previous one. That's the one where we carved this out. The elbow was going this way. This was taken out and now it's over here, but these do not line up. I was trying to ask Bill about that, so.
Well,
That's a real. We approved the change in January, right? That's all that's done.
Is that correct, Bill? We did approve that?
That's correct.
So which is the drawing that we approved in January?
This one.
So that's this.
And it doesn't quite look like that, does it?
No, it
The
doesn't,
angle here?
because Bill said to me that this parcel is A, it's only A. I think.
yeah.
That's only A, and this is the boundary line to B. And this, I think A is over here somewhere.
A is gonna. Sorry, not trying to bend
No,
it,
go ahead.
but you know, this line's gonna go right here, and then this line goes right here. She's have,
Oh, yeah, I see that. Yep.
so just, yeah.
So it's off the map. It's actually off the map.
That's the same, this is the new
That's
boundary
this.
right here. That's this green line right here.
Yeah, that's what that is. Yep.
Yeah, so this here will all become part of this there.
Right. Now I understand it. Yep.
And that, I obviously missed that meeting. I remember talking about that, but
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah.
remember.
It
approving
went
that.
this way, right?
Right.
You know,
No
to be honest with you,
This one was
I don't
much more
remember,
confusing.
but Bill said that.
Bill, that happened.
You have the minutes for that meeting, Bill?
Not right in front of me. There is no structure on either parcel.
I remember them coming back. I'm sure Bill's correct, but I don't remember them coming back to get that.
I just remember
Do you
a
have-
somewhat lengthy discussion.
You remember them coming back? to get
For this
that?
here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, can you check?
I know we finally approved it. We made him correct the map and
Because
show,
it was
and
really
show what
long.
it
It
was.
was written on, it was just, it was less detailed than this.
Maybe
It was,
Florida with you, Andy.
Yeah.
I do remember that it was a really rough sketch and I said I needed something a little bit more.
There was a hearing in February on it.
Oh,
Okay. So if we can find those minutes, that would be great. You might be able to send them to us for that discussion. I can go back and check my notes, but I do remember we had a lengthy discussion about,
because it was,
Yeah, things weren't
sketchy.
lining up at all.
Right.
I remember that.
so.
But
I-
this one seems just very straightforward.
Yeah. And those.
There's this one here, I mean, it says new
Yeah.
boundary line, so I'm assuming is that the new boundary line that then, so the elbow is that way now?
The elbow is this way.
Yeah, so this
This was
is the new
taken out.
bound, this is the
That
correct.
is the new
Yeah.
boundary.
All right, so this is the correct shape.
that's-
It was something, yeah,
This
is correct.
is correct. Yep, because that goes into
Yep.
here. So these line up. I'm able to see that pretty easily because I was here at the meeting.
All right, so before those like in like that or
Did approve
something.
it. It was approved March 6th.
March 6th. Okay, so that was what, 5 months ago?
Yeah, it just kind
Howard,
of,
Sherman,
just
Andy,
opposite.
Norman.
Now we're
Right.
dealing with this over here.
Now we're dealing with,
We're over
right,
here.
this, right,
It's just this little side over here.
right. And it is removing this line
Putting this one
and putting that one in, right? So we're removing this one, which is the current line, and taking these
Moving
two
it
point six eight acres out
and adding it
And
to
giving
here.
them to, what, giving them to B.
to, yeah,
Yeah, see, now they have that A and B, and here
I'm
they got it
just-
marked 2A, 2B.
Just thinking
Mhm.
with the amount of acreage there and Vermont not having housing, maybe somebody's looking to build on there.
possible.
And that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they're trying to gather some extra space here because we're so close to the stream there. They'd put you in a floodplain. So you can maybe at least build off. Maybe give yourself some variance from that to.
Yep.
And I don't know the elevations or anything there to know if it's even.
Right.
But
Well, it'd be great to have an opportunity to talk to them about their
Yeah.
request.
Just something
I
like
guess
that.
we're also talking about the zoning and subdivision, all that stuff. So it's like, it just ties in, right? It's like, oh, well,
He's
What-
an awful big lot. I mean, 16 acres.
you know, if you're putting in 20
You're
townhomes.
talking about the total.
Now, I mean, B is going from what? From 13 acres to 16,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and A is shrinking,
A is shrinking, right.
but even A is still 5 acres. I mean,
5
that's a good sized lot.
A is going from 7.7
But,
to
right.
5.1.
yep.
For what that's worth, I just wanted people to have an
There's
opportunity.
no trigger on the amount of how much we can do in a lot line adjustment, is there? on
Well,
that?
the only thing that we have in our current subdivision regulations is the definition of a boundary line adjustment.
Right, but I mean,
And
we're
it
not,
doesn't
we're
say
not triggering anything
that
over
there's,
the, for size. I mean, it's a fairly big lot line adjustment.
Right.
You know, usually we're dealing in footage,
right, not acreage.
not acreage.
So, I mean, that's the one question that caught my attention.
So
I
should we
asked
give them
Bill
a preliminary approval even though they're not here? I mean, there's really no.
We've never done one without talking to the person.
Okay. No,
I think
then we shouldn't start then.
given that elbow that was wonky, I think we have it.
But, yeah,
Okay,
You know,
just to find out what's happening. Okay. So, and perhaps invite them, Bill, to the next meeting? Okay, so we're gonna move that to the next meeting since nobody's here to discuss. Okay, and we'll move on to old business. Okay. So. First thing on there is subdivision bylaw, Ferrisburgh initial review pages 53 to 59. And could you hand
Yes,
hand
yeah.
two that way? Two others that way, and I'll send one to you got one?
I have one, thank you.
Howard? So these pages are the portion of the Ferrisburgh Unified Development Regs. Do I have that right, Bill? The Unified Development Regs?
I haven't read these. I have no idea.
Of the document that Bill sent out to us. Got that on my phone, but this is the section, Article 13, that focuses on subdivisions exclusively. Okay, so if you want, take a minute to look at the titles of the sections. If you've got any questions, we can start a conversation, and I will, take, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes just to familiarize yourselves with the titles of things, and then we'll open up a discussion about where we want to go, and I'll give you an update on our last meeting for anybody that wasn't there when Mary Ashcroft came and gave us the charge. Okay?
Hmm. Hmm. It's-
Hmm.
I don't think peltified site is a,
Sorry.
no, one of the words here they have is, I don't think it's a word. Certified. They have
Yeah.
they have keltified.
Yeah, I saw that. And there are several
And they
things
had
that I.
plat, and I'm like, they mean plot or plan? It's like, nope, they mean plat.
I circled that one as well.
This was scanned from
Yeah.
something else and the
Yep.
scanning missed.
Some of the things.
Okay.
That's why there are some typos.
That's where that's coming from. I see that in a few places.
Well, it's not on the official document. We're good.
Yeah, well, yeah. And this is just a draft for us to consider, so
Yep.
we'll open up that for discussion as soon as people feel comfortable. And I'm not expecting you to read through the entire article this evening, but just to get an idea. I'll share some of my thoughts as well. Take another minute or two.
Well, remind me, Dana, this is Ferrisburgh, who has
This
a
is
similar situation to us.
No, they have unified development regs, much like Bristol. And this is just one small section of
Of it.
their entire plan. Yep. I don't know how many pages they have. It seemed like when I looked at it online, or based on what Barbara had sent us, it was exceptionally long.
But this town doesn't have zoning.
They do.
They do.
Yeah, Ferrisburgh does have zoning, and that's fact, that's one of the things I'm gonna mention when I get to my comments. The number of times zoning administrators and other references are made that we would have to go in and tidy up. But it does have zoning, and this is one section. It's Article 13 of a larger document. So let me see if I can go back up to the top. It's showing me pages now.
Yeah, you got 60 pages. So we're in the last 6, 7.
Yeah, I see 37. Yep. But for some reason, is that showing on your phone?
Yeah.
Some reason mine is
Hmm.
okay. So I'm going up to the top, and they have a table of contents. I can just review that if you'd like. But scrolling on this is just, yeah, I'm not even halfway there. Actually, this can't possibly, it's got more than 60 pages, Dimitri.
Well, that's just what we had in ours. Just for the Ferrisburgh zoning thing. I just went to the table of contents. That's what it showed.
Oh, that's where you found it. Because I'm,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm only about a third of the way through the document, and I'm on page 31.
All right, yeah, I just saw 60 pages out of it. That's on the zoning district map. So I guess the last one.
Yep. Well, then that would be the last page that you have. Yeah, all of 13 is dealing with subdivision. everything else, the first 12 deal with other things. Article 3 is their zoning district and zoning. What's Article 4? Zoning district regulations. Article 5 is general bylaws, abandonment of structures, accessory uses, affordable housing. Talking about grading and extraction of subsoils, which are all referenced in the subdivision regs. Section 6 is flood hazard regulations, so we have a separate ordinance for that. So we'd have to make cross references to that. That's one of the comments I made. What else do we have? Article 7, signs and fences. Article 8, performance standards. Article 9, Article 9 was performance standards. Article 10, permits and approvals. 11, administration and enforcement, and 12, planned unit development. Some of which are referenced in the planning. Excuse me, the subdivision regulations. Okay. What thoughts, ideas, questions, observations do people have? And I'll try to capture those. Bill can perhaps capture a synopsis of those when he does the minutes. One, two, three, 5, 6, 7 pages. Well, let me actually, before I get to the question and answer period, I should give you an update. I don't know who was here at the last meeting. You were here, Howard, right?
I was here.
You were here.
I was via Zoom.
You were via Zoom. And Mary Ashcroft came and talked to us about the meeting with the select board and what the charge was for us to just focus our attention on subdivision regulations and not open up a can of worms related to bigger projects. That the will of the select board was to just focus our attention on subdivision alone. And they recognized that we might not be able to find just standalone subdivision regulations, but that was their desire to just find something that we could use as a starting point and to begin our work so that we would bring our subdivision regulations, which are far out of date and out of compliance, into something that would be manageable within the purview of the planning commission. Anybody else want to comment about Mary's visit and what she had to say? Am I capturing that well enough? Or Bill, any comments from you?
Oh, that was what the discussion was. And then Barbara did talk at the board meeting. And the board was generally in favor of this group being able to use and some outside help to draft the regulations. And the
Yep.
Regional Planning Commission was brought up that they could potentially help us draft new documents. So we wouldn't have to try and do that.
Right. And so Barbara is looking into getting somebody from the Regional Planning Commission to consult with us to help us do that. Oh, I forgot to mention that the town attorney did meet with the select board, correct?
Yes.
Prior to our previous meeting. And that we have to include 4 items that are required by statute. And anything else that I'm missing? I think that's it.
No.
Okay, so that's the backdrop.
I'm gonna ask a question.
Yeah,
For the planning commission, what's the plan for Rutland town and what do we envision it to be like in 20, 30 years? Because that's what this whole zoning stuff's gonna do for the subdivision, right? So I mean, I'm assuming we don't want it to be, 10 acres and one house. And I mean, are we trying to get for higher density areas or sprawl or?
our, that's probably a bigger question than what the select board has asked us to explore. So we had conversations about this when we were going through our previous subdivision regulations, right, Bill? You and I and Norman? And we were looking at the implications and how we could incorporate those. The town attorney said that that's outside of what the scope is of just a subdivision regulation. And those types of questions are best addressed through zoning ordinances or zoning bylaws. And he gave us what are called unified development regulations, which include zoning and then subdivision regulations to look at. We thought that a more comprehensive view of development would be beneficial for us to have guidance in making those types of decisions and planning for the future. But apparently I was not at the meeting. Apparently the discussion turned in a direction that did not want to explore that at the select board level, that level of comprehensive work. And so the select board deemed that our work should be focused solely on the subdivision component, which you can see this is 1/6 of the total unified development regulations of Ferrisburgh. So
Very small portion, but then we're not doing a unified, I mean, we're still up in the air. I mean, we're not
we've
trying.
been told we're not going to have
We're reading
the
the-
authorization to do
Yes,
that.
I guess we're just getting ideas for what they have in their ordinances that we should probably keep it or try to mimic.
Mimic in what sense? In what is in
What
the
they have
subdivision?
here, yeah,
Article
because we're not
13?
we're not copying it in its entirety, but I mean, there's probably some bits and pieces in here which makes sense that we're trying to
For the
extract.
planning commission, that's Barbara's perspective.
Okay,
For the planning commission and for the scope of our work with respect to subdivision regulations, that we can start with something such as this and adopt it to our situation with guidance from someone from the regional planning commission. That summarize it pretty well, Bill?
Just to interject here.
Yep.
Didn't Kevin Brown do Bristol's?
Mhm.
And Bristol has no zoning?
Bristol has zoning.
They do.
Bristol has unified development regulations.
Do we have any town that we can get a template from that has no zoning, that has, no, doesn't exist?
Doesn't exist.
Okay.
There may be 3 or 4 towns in Vermont that meet that criteria, and it just,
they're in the same boat as us.
Yep.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
newest ones are more than 30 years old.
Right.
Oh, okay.
We looked at that, didn't we, Bill, with one town? Was that Wallingford or
Holly.
not Holly? Thank you. Yep. So, and theirs were older than ours, actually, I think.
No, they're newer, but not
By much.
by much.
Okay, so they were 5 to 10 years more. Yep, my apologies. Any thoughts about what's in here? What jumps out at you as being meaningful for us to be able to undertake or to examine, look at?
Seems pretty boilerplate, really. I mean, when I'm. it's
The
really
categories are very similar to categories that we
Yeah,
currently have had.
and it's really the regulations as to how to.
And they've been updated. What I noticed, Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, they've been updated to comply with new statutes based on some of the things that are included
Yeah,
there
it does seem like it, yep.
that we did not have in ours, that we would have had to update, and we had conversations about that. Stormwater, for example, was not referenced previously, we have a stormwater ordinance, but they go into a little bit more detail here. I think that this document is more dense than what we had in terms of consolidating things into a very densely packed set of guidelines. The font size is also smaller than what we had, and so even though it's only 8 pages long, it probably was the equivalent of our 20-page document. Although it's probably in better compliance, we could have somebody from the Regional Planning Commission advise us on that in terms of how that would.
I think with that permission, that maybe the next step is like, let's make that formal request.
Yep.
Have someone come and talk to us and say, okay, where do we start? Like we have some towns that have something that some language we can use, but we can't use the whole document.
Right.
What do we want to include? We don't want to include, and go from there. And like, I think we've gotten the permission to use someone to help. Let's
Right.
cut to the chase to get someone to help us.
For consulting, yep. So, couple of my observations, unless anybody else wants to comment. The content is pretty dense. It is more complete than ours were, and that would be a step in the right direction. There are references to zoning, comprehensive development plan, official maps, which I was assuming might be lightly correlated to our land use map. There are significant references to development, which include cluster development, which we currently do not address at all in our subdivision regulations. I think that they have purview over that because they have zoning, but I don't know that. That's a question that we would have to.
I got another section where I feel that same way.
Okay, go ahead, Jerry, jump in.
Well, I just think that there's some reference here that, due regard needs to be given to where trees are removed and,
Yep.
I mean, all those things are common sense, I think.
Yep.
But without zoning, how are you gonna make that stick? How are we gonna tell Howard he can't take down trees in his new front yard? I mean, I don't see this without some sort of zoning backing it up. And a lot of it's common sense, nor would most of us want to do that, but.
But that observation, Jerry, was the same one that I saw multiple times going through the document. In the sense that there were things that I said, this is great, but
No teeth to me.
no teeth. That's exactly the word I had. No teeth and no reference to our authority
Right,
for making those decisions.
I agree.
And some of those actually happened towards the end.
That's where I saw most. of it.
Site preservation and improvements and utilities. And we had nothing in our subdivision regulations that referenced those two sections. I thought that they were great. But the question that I had was, where do we get our authority to do that? And it talks about, and I can't remember, I don't know if I wrote this down. It talks about the development component and where people can put structures. And we don't have anything in our subdivision regulations currently that provides us with that oversight or authority. That's something we might have to ask the select board for. But I think we're walking a very tight line between that and incursion into zoning, but
Yeah.
I'm not an expert in that
A
area.
minimum of 4 inches of topsoil, so those are
Yeah.
things. Who's gonna possibly, without any kind of zoning, there's no way that.
And building permits, there's a reference to building permits and,
Well, they can just be scratched, that part of it, but
right,
the thing is that, yeah, all this stuff, once the permit gets granted, the developer really can
do what they want.
virtually
That's,
take it
that's, I
and
guess,
say,
my point.
that is
and-
everyone's point, I think.
And that's the other thing. How much do we have to take out and what is actually left?
Right, yeah, right. And
Yeah,
then it
uh.
starts to roll back
Better
to,
off just writing it from scratch.
yeah.
Well,
Instead of undoing all the stuff they did to make it cater to what you want, it's easier to just start from scratch and add in.
Well,
potentially,
I don't
what
think we have to
can we add
scratch too
in?
much
That's-
out.
That's the question, because I had the same observation, Bill, with Bristol. and I think Norman concurred, that there were so many interwoven references to zoning in the subdivision articles or regulations, that it was tough to tease out what was really within the purview of the planning commission as subdivision regulators. Besides,
So I think when we have that discussion with the regional planning commission, say, do you want to start with something that exists and work backwards, or do you want to start from nothing and work forwards?
that's a great question.
Let them decide about what they think is gonna be easier, like. We spent so much time on this and to get to
Where we're at right now.
back to zero.
Zero.
Let's talk to someone who does this and ask them which direction we should go from there and use our energy for something productive. I guess.
One thing we could do here is just quickly go through this thing and see what we scratch. Just do it paragraph by paragraph. It wouldn't take us really half an hour, right?
True, but if the planning commission says, yeah, it's easier to start at zero, then.
Well, then we can kind of see what we have left. After, because an awful lot of this stuff here is just boilerplate stuff. Subdivision requirements for a preliminary plat. I mean, that's
I think it's.
there. Review and approval of the plat, the same thing. Review and approval for the major and minor subdivisions is pretty well all standard stuff. It calls for the public hearings. And where anything that references, the zoning thing, we just scratch that out.
If we make a list of like, here's what we would like included. What statutorily required aside, we'd like to include the process. Do we want to include a boundary line adjustment reference? And that seems to be something that comes up often enough.
Under this, it seems like under this, any change would be a subdivision.
And
And that might actually make our life easier.
yeah,
But yeah, you're right. Those are the types of questions.
Right.
I'm just curious, like, how would changing the boundary line make it a subdivision and making our lives easier? Just so I understand the connection and the thought process.
Right now, there, in the documents we've seen with respect to subdivision ordinance regulation or articles, there are no boundary line adjustments that
Allowed.
we've seen anywhere. So they only talk about minor subdivision or major subdivision. So my understanding is that what we are calling a boundary line adjustment is almost a waiver of what is normally considered a minor subdivision.
Okay,
But I don't know. I'm not an expert in that.
yeah,
That's a question for either Barbara or the Regional Planning Commission folks. And how would it make our life easier? We wouldn't be spending as much time going over someone's request to see if it really was a boundary line adjustment or if there were something else that should be regulating the division of land within the town. So we'd be able to be more consistent. Unless we were like Andy was saying, making an adjustment of 2 feet.
yeah.
And then we could clarify that. We could also clarify that if you're moving a pin 2 feet, that probably constitutes a,
Less than a certain acreage or whatever.
right, or we could put something
Yeah.
in. I mean, right. Because otherwise it seems like you're creating parcels without really creating parcels.
Yeah.
And then if something comes to us down the road after someone has made a half dozen boundary line adjustments, we've got to figure out
Well,
where the subdivision falls. So I'm
I
just
don't know, I
thinking,
don't see it. As long as it does, you don't change like in this one, you're changing the size, but there's not anything else that really affects the town in any way.
But it still could be a minor subdivision. right?
Yeah, there still should, I think we should maintain some kind of mechanism to do this. There's no need to put people through a whole
but
you know,
the
whole
my,
thing of a
I guess-
subdivision. I do get your point, Dana.
Yeah.
There's no question there.
we have, the only thing that do they not have to do a Mylar? No, they have to do a Mylar.
Yeah.
So there's nothing, the boundary line adjustment doesn't really save us any time or energy. It just makes it more convoluted for record keeping purposes and for registering the number of Mylars. So you'd have property that would be changing its boundary line without actually,
So it'd really just be a title change. It really wouldn't be, it wouldn't really be any
Interesting.
different.
Yeah.
We would just be
Yeah.
calling it a minor subdivision rather than a
Right.
lot.
Yeah.
Boundary line adjustment.
and it would be included in that. And yeah, I don't know. In my mind, it's simpler if it were just rolled into.
One or the other.
Right. And in many ways,
100% about, there's no sense dragging any extra steps on people
No.
who are trying to do what they're doing here.
No.
right,
It doesn't make any sense.
but I don't know.
Boundary line adjustment is simpler for the property owner because it's cheaper for him, because he doesn't have to put the notice in the papers and all this other stuff.
Ah,
And that's
okay.
another thing.
Yep.
That's why they want to do the boundary line adjustments, to keep it, you know, to their benefit, so they don't have to go through the drawn out.
This though, the size is what, the size I think is important that maybe we find, because
Yeah.
to me, a couple acres here, it's kind of a subdivision. I mean, you know what I mean? He's saving money and he's jumping through a kind of loophole, and I'm not this person, anybody would do the same. But
This is in,
that's a
there-
pretty.
that's a big
chunk of
parcel,
land.
right?
Yeah,
It is.
And
it would be
it-
different if it was like everyone's saying here, maybe a 10-foot strip up a boundary line. that,
Right.
Just adjust.
Which is
that.
Yeah, the ones we've done where somebody wants a garden,
Exactly.
you know,
What
25
we-
footer
what we
down the
did for them.
line, yeah.
What we did for them the first time this year
Yeah.
is typical.
Right.
Yeah,
You're taking something and squaring it up like.
That makes
arranging
sense,
a
right.
line.
Right.
This is atypical for sure.
Right, right.
That's what I was just asking, like, what's the intent behind it? Are they gonna use, now they've got 16 acres potentially, are they gonna put in multifamily housing? Are
don't-
they gonna put it? I
I
don't
just
know.
don't think
Yeah.
we can ask them. I mean,
well,
But that's that's outside of our,
Right.
purview, right?
I mean,
But you
We
can
can't
ask
even
them,
ask
say,
that
"We have no
question now."
plans,"
right.
Right.
And then tomorrow, come up with plans and.
Well, I'm saying we should probably have a plan that can address things like that, so we're not caught off guard.
That's.
Well,
Yeah.
right, but
That's-
see,
that's
to your
the problem.
point, Dimitri, Dimitrio, those are some of the things that are in here that I think if we go through this, we're gonna have to omit. Particularly as it relates to, site preservation and improvements and, development.
I think the planning standards, I mean, you're asking people in this particular document, you're kind of asking people to do things that I don't think we have no jurisdiction over at all. So it's pretty hard to ask them to do that and then turn around. Where does that hold any legal standard
Right.
down the road?
Standard,
This is
right.
exactly why we've ended up right here tonight. The fact that we couldn't have anything with any teeth in it.
Right.
Just seems like such a circle we're going in here for.
Right.
my question, sometimes I think, you know, can we even be successful at this?
Yeah. Without moving to, I don't know that without zoning, we're ever going to be very successful at it.
Well, that's what the general consensus prior to Dimitrio arriving.
Exactly.
We looked at this long and hard from many different perspectives, many different angles. And correct me if I'm wrong, we had unanimous, that we didn't just have consensus, we had unanimous support for a different,
Explore that.
right, to explore that, right, for a
And we
different
kinda-
pathway forward. Yep.
Kind of got shut
And
off.
that has been preempted, right? And Mary said I have to do this, I have to communicate this, because Mary did say that she really respected all of the time, energy and effort and hard work of the planning commission in all aspects of the work that we do. And at this point in time, the only thing that was supported by the select board as a body was focusing on the subdivision.
It's interesting out of like, what is there, 250, you probably know from the regional, 250 municipalities in the state.
243, I think. or
Yeah, there's
something.
only 4 that don't have. So it just speaks volumes to maybe the direction that we should, but
And when you take the population.
right, the
Right.
towns that don't have it are much
Yeah,
smaller.
Exactly.
It's interesting, but it is what it is,
There
right?
was some of the language, like on 13.6 for review and approval, just giving us that 45 days, and if we don't get it done within 45 days, then it constitutes a preliminary approval. Just curious, I mean, has there been any issues getting things done timely here? Or is that, I don't know, like with vacations or holidays or things like, all right, so that's not. an
45
issue?
days should be,
Plenty, all
plenty,
right.
yeah.
Within
Yeah.
45 days, we typically would have 2 meetings.
2 meetings.
We have
Maybe
2
3.
meetings to have a discussion on it. And make a decision, so it'd be unusual to go 45 day stretch without ever having a meeting to talk about it, so,
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The only
Well,
time
it's
that
supposed to
could-
be approved or disapproved within those 45, that's all,
It'd
so.
be really unusual to, once we have the hearing, to not have a meeting within 45 days to make a decision.
The only time that
That'd
could
be
possibly
unusual.
happen is if it was perfect timing at Christmas, because
That's what I was
sometimes
gonna-
we skip 4
Yeah.
weeks sometimes
That's what-
during
But
Christmas.
we wouldn't schedule a hearing
That's
Right.
true, that's
ahead
true.
of that.
Yeah, that's
Scheduled
true.
in January, so
Right.
that would.
That's right.
Yeah.
and then, I mean, if it's happening every 3 weeks,
Right.
you've got 6 weeks, that's 42 days. You've got 3 meetings in 42 days.
Potentially, yeah.
But it's
Potentially,
still,
so,
it still only says preliminary approval of the preliminary plot.
Yeah, yeah, so I mean, it's
So
still very
that's
early on.
really, it's not etched in stone
No.
there at all, so.
and that meeting is more educational based on
Yeah.
what I read. And that's some of the work that we do. We try to educate our citizens about what will help us make an informed decision and what will be in their best interest for registering their plats.
Well, as you guys know, I'm not one to spend a lot of money, but this is one where it just seems like the Regional Planning Commission should start us in a direction. I mean, we're just kind of
Spinning our wheels.
spinning our wheels here. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of this that makes sense, and hopefully they could come back with something and then we could start.
Right. And
at
let me just ask this question to Bill because I can't remember. Bill, Barbara did take that away and was going to talk to someone at the Regional Planning
I
Commission. Is that
thought
correct?
so, yeah.
So do we need to second that? Do we need to reinforce that?
I think that just is a topic for the next meeting about what our next steps were with reaching out and scheduling time with them and how do we
Okay.
start, how do we officially?
How do we
start
get that process going?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe you can put in the minutes that the planning commission this evening supported that thought again. And that we'll put it as an agenda item
Yep.
on the next month's agenda. And we will get that ball rolling. And if Barbara can do any legwork before then, that's even better. Okay, any further discussion then on the subdivision bylaws?
Well, I guess a couple, so here I know it says we have to have a consulting engineer that's registered in the state of Vermont for submitting your final plat. But if we do boundary changes, do you need a licensed surveyor to make that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we already have the language in there for the, like, all right. I got a friend that lives in, I guess it's Mendon. But his neighbor, I guess, says, nope, my line goes right up through your porch, like into the house. It's like, no, your boundary line does not go through the neighbor's yard. It's like, oh no, the deed there. So I was just curious. I mean, obviously it's a big mess up, but if people are doing their own, revising the boundary lines, if they didn't have a survey out there or something, so.
But yeah, that's why we have the bylaws have to be on file even for the boundary line
Yes,
adjustment.
that's right.
And that's what we have to prove.
A prerequisite for a boundary line adjustment is that parcel maps, Mylars are on, for both parcels are on file in the office.
And
Before
record
anything
it.
happens.
If one is and one is not, it does not count.
And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I think with boundary line adjustments, we don't always require that they survey the whole,
Correct.
just
Right.
to keep the
Yeah.
cost down. This
Right. They-
piece that's being addressed.
Yep. Exactly. And then the adjustment is made on the Mylar from the
Correct.
previous plat.
I just see some of the, this is the stuff that always gets me, like, so the final plat, so for the preliminary, it's 11 by 17, but the final plat is either 18 by 24 inches or a multiple thereof.
That's theirs, like that.
I know, and then it says, and then the margins shall be 2 inches outside of the border lines on the left
Yeah.
for bind. That starts to get really nitty gritty with
No,
that
no,
dumb
no,
stuff
no,
there, so
we
it's like,
have- we have to be specific, we are specific in ours, we are specific because we have
Have
a
to
limit
fit.
to the size map we can actually put on file. So if they want to bring in, it's like 3 feet by 4 feet, it's.
well, no, I was just saying, yeah, but having that 18 by 24, but then it doesn't jive with the preliminaries of 11 by 17, so I'm like,
no,
just
we-
thinking.
We are, our requirements are consistent, that's
All right.
just for that reason, so.
But this is, once again,
This is somebody else's. I was
That
just-
11
somebody else's, right.
17 is just a sketch though, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Which is I mean, essentially this.
So, any further, comment for the good of the order regarding, the subdivision bylaws? Hearing none, let's move on to the townwide celebration. And Barbara wanted me to let folks know that we only have 3 volunteers. I think it's Barbara, myself, and Mary Beth. Do you remember, Bill, if that's correct, if she's the third one?
Sounds correct, yeah.
And we might need a little bit additional support, especially since I've now been given double duty. Yeah, well, I'm also representing Brock, and initially there were going to be 2 of us from Brock, but my colleague has been sick for the whole week and not been in work, and based on what she told me today, it's not looking good for her to be recovered by Saturday. So I may be spending the majority of my time staffing Brock.
So you think I should rearrange the map to put the 2 booths side by side so you can jump back and
I could
forth?
jump back and forth. If that's what you want to do, Bill, then feel free to do that. But so the appeal was by Barbara was to see if we could get 1 or 2 more members of the planning commission this evening who could pop by for a shift of a couple of hours, just to make sure that there were people that could talk a little bit about, I think it's mostly the Pocket Park, Bill. I don't think there.
She picked up the map and stuff.
Yep, and she's going to be putting that will be on display. And for there to be some members of the planning commission that could at least engage the public and talk about the work we've been doing for the Pocket Park.
What shifts are you talking about? I
it-
can see if I
Whole
can be
thing's 10 to
available.
2.
It's 10 to 2. So,
And yeah,
well, she also said something about possible setup and then just taking down. So she'd like, so technically, I guess if you start at 9:30 and you finish at 2:30, it would be
yeah,
9:30 to 2:30. That's 5 hours. Yeah. I mean,
yeah, I did it last
if
year.
people can do, maybe 2.5, huh?
Free food, free ice cream, it's a good deal.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it was good.
It's
food,
fun.
too.
It goes by pretty quickly.
Weather's supposed to be just
Beautiful.
perfect.
That's
so
right.
It is likely going to be a
Nice
very
day.
well-attended event.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it would be great.
Yep.
If we could get, if there are 2 of you, since I'm already kind of enlisted, that would be willing to come for, a half day, a half time shift, 2.5 hours, something like that, either in the beginning or at
I'm
the
gonna see
end.
if I can do it. I'm gonna talk to see what we have.
Okay,
I
great.
don't run the schedule in our house.
Sure. Well, that's great. So Andy will check. Anybody else willing to?
I don't believe it's gonna work for me. Well, I got some other issues
Okay.
going on.
Add it to the list. My day today started at 5:30 and still ain't over, so I'll volunteer. I'll pick a morning shift or whatever, like 9 to,
Okay.
or I mean, it's,
9:30, yeah. Okay, well, it's great to meet you. Thanks.
yeah, I mean, it's right before I take it to, it'll be right after I go to recycling, so I'm already there, so.
Great. Thanks. Well, the 2 of you.
Working.
You're
but
working, yeah. Well,
Sorry.
that's okay. I get it.
They're busy, huh?
I'm working too.
Yeah,
I just
really?
happen to be working right there.
7 days easy.
So Bill, if I'm still at Brock next year, you should probably CC me on that email that gets lost with
Yeah, I'm still
Tom and,
avoiding a little bit.
what's that?
Junk folder.
Yeah, junk folder.
One service coming up.
Okay. Announcements, anything else that I haven't already covered? I did talk about Mary's visit under the subdivision bylaw discussion, so I don't think I have anything more to add to Mary's visit. It was very cordial. It was helpful. She was there for the entire meeting, I think, to her credit. And I don't know, Bill, if there are any other announcements from the last select board meeting that are worth mentioning. Nope, okay. So, and we've postponed the minutes of July 10th due to a lack of a quorum.
No, you can do July 10th, because that was Barbara, Howard, Sherman, Jerry, and Demetrio. That was it,
Right, but we only have 3 of them here.
right?
And we
Three of the
need
5
4.
people that were there.
We decided, I don't know when, that we need to have 4. Because 3 does not constitute a quorum of our numbers of 7.
Even though there's only 5 people in attendance in the meeting.
I didn't make that up. I don't necessarily like it, Bill, but I've been told what my parameters are, and I will respect them. I mean,
So why did you only have 3 people show up?
I'm sorry,
What if there's only 3 people at the meeting?
The meeting doesn't happen.
meeting doesn't happen.
And have a
Okay.
meeting.
But so in order to have a meeting, you have to have a quorum of the membership,
All right,
which is 4.
All right.
Out of 7,
just a majority, yeah.
just a majority. We have this unusual definition of a quorum for adopting minutes, which says that we must have a quorum of the members present to accept the minutes. But that quorum is out of 7. So if you only have 4 people show up at a meeting,
All 4 have to vote, yeah.
all 4 have to be present
Yeah.
for the minutes to be officially adopted
At the next,
at any future meeting.
any
right?
future meeting, right?
And we went, I don't know, 3 or 4 months while I was somewhat having a logical meltdown over this when we were rewriting our rules for procedure. But I lost, so.
So what happens if you have a body that all of a sudden after an election changes?
Then you can never adopt those.
Then they can't ever adopt those minutes? That just, to me, it seems like adopting the
You all
minutes
made your own
means
rules. You
that,
can all change them at some point, so
pardon?
you all agreed on those rules, so
I know we did, but I'm thinking that we should change them.
that's a discussion for another meeting.
Andy, you will get no objection.
Yeah,
From your-
because
I
you
mean,
think what I'm
there are
saying,
five
when
Vice
of
Chair.
you-
when you're
there are
approving
5
the
of you here
minutes.
right now, which is
A quorum.
majority, so
That,
but
Because if you had a change, right, of all the elected body and you had no longer their, they could review the tape if they wanted to.
that's correct.
And
And I've done my own research on it, and the acceptance of minutes are just to say that it is a reasonable representation of what transpired at the meeting, which
Yeah.
can be obtained by reading the minutes and or looking at a tape and saying, yes, I agree. I have told Bill on many occasions that I really appreciate the minutes because I get a really good idea. If I have a question, I ask. Somebody gives me the answer. I could be informed and I could make a reasonable decision about whether they represent what took place at the meeting. However, that perspective didn't carry weight when we were looking at our rules of procedure. So if you would like to change it, you won't hear any objection from
well, let's
this member
talk
of
about
the-
it the next time we
Yeah,
have
perhaps we have a
good-
full
when we have a full group.
body, we'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
because having them.
Barbara cited something that, I just remember that Barbara cited something that was part of a statute that couldn't, that's just what I remember.
I made the mistake of citing Robert's rules, and we don't have to follow Robert's rules, and that's fine. The rationale is this is what the select board does, and so we should be consistent with the select board. But we have our own, we come up with our own rules. And to have to abstain from voting on the minutes because you weren't present. It doesn't, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It's just minutes. If you haven't been informed of something and you're not sure what the implications are and you need more information, you can then abstain or recuse yourself if you have a conflict of interest, but that's not the same on the minutes.
Right, but
Yeah.
to read,
But
to
we're-
read those and then abstain, I've done it obviously many times.
So I do too.
But you read them and you're like, why couldn't I vote on that? There's really nothing there that that matters.
And how long do we maintain the electronic thing for, Bill? So by statute, how long do we have to?
No idea, I keep it forever. Like there's nothing, we don't delete them.
I saw at least 2 years of worth
Oh,
of
yeah,
meeting.
Yeah, so
Right
that's
now,
the,
I will tell you, right now, I have at least 7 years worth.
then, yeah, so we should change that rule then.
Well,
We might
can-
miss a comma or something.
Oh,
It
that's
was
why we have
missed.
Norman.
We do, we have.
we've done better. We've done better. I'm trying to set a good example. It doesn't interfere with the understanding of the
Exactly.
the discussion that happened at the meeting, or it's not interfering with the motion, then
Move on.
we move on. Yep. Okay. Any other announcements or any other matters that need to be raised before we adjourn? Okay, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second? Jerry? Okay. Thank you very much. We are adjourned.